Her new movie stars Aaron Eckhart, Tommy Lee Jones, and Heather Graham. She's directed episodes of Wynonna Earp, Legends of Tomorrow, and The Rookie, and she's blazing a trail for female directors across the world. And she was born right here in Niagara Falls. Joining us now on The Source, April Mullen. April, pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me here. It's nice to be in the home turf.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because you don't get home too often. What is it like to be at home and working on finishing off your latest film, I should say, from home remotely?
It's been wonderful. It's been nice to, see family on a continuous basis, even though we're in a pod, but it's really, really nice working from home and taking a break from the fast-paced busyness that is traveling every 6 weeks for a TV show and the kind of, on the road, living out of 2 suitcases throughout the year. It's been nice to unpack my bags and be home for 6 months and be with family.
No new leads. Again. Out my head run.
The movie is called Wander, although it's not about really wandering. That's the name of a town. Can you give us a basic synopsis of this latest film?
Yes, it's a conspiracy thriller, a lot about revenge and a man trying to find out what happened behind the death of his daughter. And he travels to a town called Wander, and he unravels an entire conspiracy, which is about chip technology, border control, and finding a voice to the people that have no voice. So it's a very strong, prolific message for sure.
It brings up a lot of issues in relation to missing and murdered Indigenous women,
Yes.
and some other Indigenous issues. You have some Indigenous blood as well.
I do.
So this project must really be close to your heart.
It is, and it's really important for this truth to be revealed. And, typically they are targeted with government violences, and so it's nice to shed light on those issues and, bring it to everybody's attention. And hopefully voices like that will be heard.
What was it like working with people like Aaron Eckhart and Tom Lee Jones?
Aaron is undivided, like full-blown, in it every second, every frame. He gives every ounce of his being. He's incredible at what he does. He just brings it all every day. And Tommy Lee Jones is legendary, class act, comes in professional, ready to work, and they were such an incredible dynamic duo to work alongside, and they're completely different personality-wise, but they complemented each other really, really well.
This project, start to finish, was really your project, you and your partner, Tim, your business partner, Tim.
Yes.
You guys have been working together for a long time.
We go way back. This is like number 6, but this one was all American. We shot in Carrizozo, New Mexico, which was unique for us with American financing, and it's being released by Saban and Paramount in Canada. So it's a completely different financial structure. It was a big leap out of our comfort zone, and very excited about it.
Let's talk about that comfort zone, because you've really built it up over the years, and this is probably going to be your most visible project,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
What do you expect out of this?
It's interesting. I think COVID really did change what we thought the projected idea of Wander. We originally were going to do theaters, of course, across North America, and because of COVID and the huge ripple effect of theatrical releases, we're going direct day and date. So we'll be out and no longer in theaters, but it'll be December 4th and wide throughout North America. So it'll be a lot of word of mouth. It's going to have to come from the people, and the people that watched it and loved it and shared through social media and sort of buzz and word of mouth. Completely different than what we expected, but with a cast like that and a performance and subject matter that is very current, especially with the border control issues, and I think it'll do well.
Do you feel that, like many other entertainment-based industries, that this is the pause, the effect of COVID-19 is going to change the way the film industry moves forward? You talked about not being able to release this in theaters. Will that be something we'll see more of in the future?
I certainly hope not. I think it's a wave that we have to be safe for the next year at least. And obviously the ripple effect of what it's done in the past year. But I do hope, because film is meant to be shared in a community event, and you're meant to share it across with audience members, and you're in a room with 100 people and you're all reacting to something, and it's communal, and that's what makes it so important to make. Art is meant to be shared. So I hope that we come to a day where we can enjoy scares and
Yeah.
cries and laughter all together again in
Well,
a
that
theater.
crowd response, right?
Exactly.
You don't get that watching it on your iPad.
Exactly, and it's been weird seeing too Wander at arm's length. It premiered in France, and we're not able to attend and see. The feedback is really important as a filmmaker. What lands, what doesn't land, what actually impacted the audience, and the Q&As afterwards are so important for us to learn and take whatever we learned with us to the next project. But those things, unfortunately, this year are not happening. So we're just rolling with it and staying safe and respecting where we're at.
The film festival circuit has been
Yes.
important to you in the past.
It is, especially for independent cinema, because that's where you sort of get your launch. And from there, the audience buzz trickles out. And festivals are crucial for independent producers and filmmakers as they kind of tour throughout the countries and all over the world, and sort of little pockets of buzz create larger ones. And usually you get a distribution deal out of those as well. And you get, your press, pre-press, and your reviewers all kind of seeing it in the festivals, but those things didn't happen. So there's no like warm up to the platform release. It's just going to be available on demand.
Let's talk about your work in television. What differences are there when you work in television? When you shoot an episode of Wynonna Earp, for instance, it's not all your material. You don't get to write those episodes, am I correct?
True. So the material is provided. If it's a season 2 or 3, there's definitely a theme there, and there's, the production design is the same, the cinematographers are the same. So you're kind of walking into a preconceived look of the show, tonally as well. And you take the script, and you could definitely tweak it and give your notes, and there's definitely a lot of wiggle through because you're balancing the budget and everything of your episode. But
are you handcuffed a bit when it comes to the budget for effects? Are the effects already suggested to you? And
they're suggested, but you can also present a bunch of ideas and new ideas. And I found from the moment I entered TV, at least, television had changed a lot than what I had heard in the past, because I'm always able to bring a bunch of new ideas forward to the table, and if they're well thought through and well presented, usually you are approved. And so it's exciting. You just have a lot more people to help you, and a lot more money, and a lot more toys. So
and the shooting schedule is much tighter,
yes,
right?
Yeah, but I'm used to that because coming from the indie run and gun, it's the same sort of thing. You're under really tight timelines, and if something goes awry and your day explodes, you have to find ways very quickly and innovate with your team to bring yourself to the finish line. But I feel comfortable in those arenas.
Your previous movie, Below Her Mouth, made a lot of waves. Very sexual in its content.
Yes.
You had an all-female cast. Was it easier to shoot those kinds of scenes with that all-female cast? Or I shouldn't say cast.
Crew and cast. Yes. Yeah. It was definitely a different vibe on set because the content was so vulnerable, let's say, and the actresses really had to let themselves go, and that required them to go to a bubble, sort of like almost a very intimate bubble with each other. There were only 3 people on set, myself, the cinematographer, who was also the camera operator, and we hid mics within the room, so the boom operator, nobody was in the room. So it was very intimate, and the crew consisted of 12 individuals. So it was small anyways, but because it was an all-female crew, I think the actresses were able to really let down their guards and have no, preconceived expectations that somebody was watching and sort of hoping for something else or judging, or we just sort of let them be, and they could just be themselves and show their truths, and I was just there to support them and encourage them and make them feel safe. So it was really great set.
This might be the wrong way to ask this question,
Yes.
but was it difficult to find enough female crew members?
Extremely, because this was before, we were ahead of our time, so it was way before the very supportive wave that's happened with female crew members and female in film in general and TV. So this was back in 2015, 16, somewhere along there. But it was very difficult. Boom op, very, very challenging. Sound recordist.
Some of those jobs are very physical.
Cinematographer even. We really had to hunt. We were on the hunt in Canada, all across Canada, to find those positions and find the right person for the job.
I said off the top, you're blazing a trail for other female directors. There's not a lot of female directors that make waves. And I'm looking at your success right now and looking at the waves that this movie is making. I think you're changing the landscape for future female directors.
Hopefully. I'm here to inspire them and tell them they should continue and follow their dreams. So this is for you guys. To the future. I don't know what you're going to bring, but it better be good.
One last question. What's next for your future after Wander gets out there?
I have lots coming out that we shot last year. So I have a Netflix series, Tiny Pretty Things, that comes out in October. In November, a series, Blood and Treasure, CBS. And Tim and I are up to no good. We've got our next feature lined up that we're hoping to shoot in the spring. And we also have a series that we are so passionate about that we are pitching next week to the CBC. So fingers crossed. We got lots going on.
Well, keep in touch with us and let us know. We'll have you back on the show.
Always. Thank you for having us. And love you so much, Niagara Falls.